The DCU has arrived, so let's talk about some Creature Commandos. Hi, my name is Zach, and I started this YouTube channel because I cannot watch a movie or a series without having to talk about it afterwards. If you find yourself the same way, you're in the right place. Consider hitting that subscribe button. And while you're at it, why don't you comment down below what you thought about Creature Commandos. This is going to be a review covering the first 2 episodes, as that's all that I've seen up until this point. And going into Creature Commandos, you know, this is the start of the DCU. James Gunn, Peter Safran have taken over. They are starting a new continuity in the DC universe. The official rollout of the red carpet is going to be with Superman later next year, but this is the first glimpse into the DC universe that James Gunn and Peter Safran are creating. So, kind of going into my thoughts with these first 2 episodes of Creature Commandos, what's working for me about Creature Commandos so far is James Gunn has established himself, especially within the comic book genre and comic book fans, of taking a ragtag group of characters that don't really get the spotlight in the mainstream comic book realm. He's putting them full front and center in these movies and shows. Started with Guardians of the Galaxy, moved on to The Suicide Squad with DC, and now he's got another DC project with Creature Commandos. And this group of characters that James Gunn is trying to bring into the forefront, into the spotlight for the mainstream audience, is definitely, I would say, the most challenging to get the audience on board with. Not that these characters in and of themselves are hard to get on board with, but just the concepts here. With Guardians of the Galaxy, Talking Raccoon or Talking Tree, but you had Star-Lord in there as well. There was weird components to it, but you still had some humanity in there. Same with the Suicide Squad. You got a big talking shark, but you've also got Margot Robbie in there and a weasel. So there's some weird stuff going on in the Suicide Squad. Here you do have Rick Flag, but other than Rick Flag being the human leading this team of commandos, these are just the weirdest characters that James Gunn has ever had to bring to the screen. There's a robot that talks only about killing Nazis. The Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein himself is here as well. There's a lady with a fishbowl for a head, and Weasel from the Suicide Squad is back here. And so far, the team that James Gunn has assembled for this Creature Commandos that he has included in the team, they do bring really unique, complex aspects to this team. They're all very dynamic. They're all very different from each other, and I'm liking this team as of right now. Now, this series is very much a replica of the Suicide Squad. The series even opens up very similar to how the Suicide Squad does, with Rick Flag and Amanda Waller introducing us to the team with quick flashbacks and quick exposition for each of their characters. So in a lot of ways, this series feels very familiar to a lot of what James Gunn has given us in the past. It also at times feels a little bit like the light version of what James Gunn has brought us in the past. Now, this series is crass and it's sexual and it's horny, a little bit more than my liking, but it's, you know, I knew what I was getting into when I hit play. There was a little bit more of it, a little bit more graphic sexual images, I would say, than I was expecting when I put this on. But if you like that kind of stuff, if you're a James Gunn fan, this is very much, it's crass, it's crude, it's got language, it's got violence. The violence in the first 2 episodes hasn't been crazy so far. It's been good. The animation is very well done, but nothing insane has happened. And so the humor is there that you expect from James Gunn. Not his best stuff, I must say. I didn't laugh out loud once during either of these 2 episodes, but the pulp culture references, the needle drops are there. So this very much feels like a James Gunn product, like you kind of want it to feel, even if it does feel like he's duplicating a lot of what he does. These first 2 episodes, the first episode is very much assembling the team, getting us into the mission that's going on to kind of protect this princess. And then the second episode dives more into the Bride of Frankenstein and her story, her backstory with Frankenstein and her creation. So far, the series is pushing into the forefront, into the lead, Rick Flag Sr. as well as the Bride of Frankenstein. We haven't really gotten too much more of the other Creature Commandos. I have a sense that this show is going to be a formulaic show of each episode. We get another backstory or a deeper look into each one of our Creature Commandos. But as it is in these 2 episodes, those are the 2 characters that they've focused on the most as of now. Going into some things that aren't working for me with Creature Commandos in these first 2 episodes, there's a couple of things. Right now, I feel like the mission that they're on, the series moves at such a rapid pace, as it's only 22 minutes per episode, that the setup for this mission was very quick. It was very exposition heavy. I'm not fully invested in the mission yet of protecting this princess. There isn't too much that I know about what they're trying to do in this mission as of these first 2 episodes. Maybe I just missed it because the wit and the writing is just so quick and sharp in this series. And the other thing about this series that, just as someone who has been kind of frustrated in some aspects with how James Gunn and Peter Safran are moving forward with this DC universe, if we mention it, it's canon. If it's not mentioned, it's not canon to the DCEU, has kind of been James Gunn's approach of his DC universe in comments lately. And you definitely get that sense, especially in this show, that James Gunn just really wants his Peacemaker and Suicide Squad movie to be canon in his DC universe. But even though those are tied back to the DCEU, he has to address some things that happened in them. And there's a lot of references in Creature Commandos to what happened in the Suicide Squad, what's happened in Peacemaker since Peacemaker. It's very much in the continuity of both of those projects, the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. And just as someone who wants a fresh start, this is the kickoff to the DC universe. This is the new DCU. It says it in its trailer, for crying out loud. James Gunn says it. These characters are going to cross over. Rick Flag Sr. has already been confirmed to appear in Superman later next year as Frank Grillo, who voices him in the series. As someone who wants the DCU to just be a fresh start, those references, those obvious nodbacks to movies that have happened in the DCEU just makes this feel like a continuation of the DCEU as opposed to a brand new DCU. Now, I won't judge it too harshly as of right now. We'll see how it plays once these characters cross over into projects like Superman and so on and so forth. Just judging the show on its own of these first 2 episodes, it's good. It's enjoyable. It's got James Gunn-isms that you want to see in there. The animation's well done. The characters are quirky and weird and complex, and I'm interested in a number of them. And I'm curious to see where it's going to go. Definitely feels like the Suicide Squad. Definitely feels like James Gunn products of the past. But just based on these 2 episodes, I'm going to give this a solid recommend if you're into the James Gunn stuff, if you're into what he did with the Suicide Squad, what he did with Guardians. This is definitely my least favorite project of his that I've seen of him comic book wise. But I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. So if they sound interesting to you, give them a check out. And those are my quick thoughts on the first 2 episodes of Creature Commandos. How do you guys feel about Creature Commandos so far? Have you checked it out? Are you going to check it out? Comment down below. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions. Guys, we just covered a whole bunch of DC content through a James Gunn interview on Josh Hartnett's Happy Sad Confused podcast. You can check that out right over there. We'll talk more DCU, and there's more content down below there that you can check out as well. As always, guys, thank you so much for checking out the video and hearing me out. Don't just watch movies, talk movies. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.